Hey everyone, in this video I'm gonna be doing my review of Badlands. A lot of people have been asking me about it, and I already talked a little bit about how I felt about this movie during my live stream. If I was gonna summarize, people want to know, oh, how do you rank it? How do you rate it? I would say, I don't know how, but I think I'm gonna put it in the fourth place, meaning that first one Predator, second Predator 2, third Predators, fourth place this movie, Badlands. And I know that a lot of people are saying, what? Really? You think that this is better than the Predator and Prey? And I'm like, I wouldn't say maybe better as a Predator movie. However, has a movie, has an action movie, has like entertainment, has an entertaining movie. I would say, yeah, I think if I want to rewatch one of those movies, I would prefer to rewatch this than the Predator or Prey. Or also Killer of Killers. Killer of Killers might be, man, between Killer of Killers and the Predator, it's a tough one. The worst ones, I don't even rate and I don't even like try to care much. I would give this movie pretty much like a 6 so far. I mean, while comparing, if I'm gonna give a 10 to Predator, a 9 to Predator 2, and to Predators, I usually give like a 7 or 7.5. For this movie, probably gonna be a 6. If the Predators at least look it more like Predators, if just the design was better, I think I would just give it a 7. Just because like the design, I would say it's the main biggest issue for me. So let's talk about the bad. What I didn't like about the movie. Well, Deck's design. His brother not exactly perfect, but he better. His father better. But still, like even his brother and father, they don't look as realistic as Jungle Hunter. And I'm like, what the fuck? In '87, they could make a Predator that looked more realistic than now. Like it's just the CGI and just like the people there making the costumes or like the see like everything involved with the animatronics effects. I don't know. Like they're just not as good as 10 Wings. Like no comparison. And well, we end up like getting this shit. With Pharaoh was already pretty bad. I think that at least the mandibles in this guy they look more Predator like than Pharaoh. Pharaoh like I don't know, like he looked like another species of Predator. I don't know because of how different he was. It bothered me. Like he was cool for the most part, but then as soon as his mask come off, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? So design of the Predator is my main issue. Second main issue, I would say probably the humanization of the Predators, just like their behavior overall. And people could say, oh, but how are we gonna make the protagonist, make the Predator protagonist, without humanizing him, without making him talk and give something to relate to him? And I'm like, yeah, I cannot say for sure like what would be like the possible best way to do it. But I still think that certain things could have been done a little bit better. The dialogue to make it sound more Predator-like. The language, I kind of got used to it. I think some of the words, like when he says no, is nigh. Like it sounds too similar to human. I feel like certain things that that Dax says, like he shouldn't say. Like I think that some of the expressions, I know that we have seen Predator speak before, like we saw on Predator 2 or even first movie Predator after had Jungle Hunter reply to Dutch, so we know that they can speak, so they probably have their own language. However, the way that they express themselves in this movie kind of felt human. I don't know like how I could fix this. And Dex, we have Deck's father, Deck, and his brother. His brother and Deck for the beginning of the movie is like mostly okay, but then through the movie, as he goes into the relationship with Taya, like the way that they talk, sometimes the stuff that he says, the way that he behaves and reacts, it just sounds like I know he's supposed to be like this teenager outlier, has a outcast predator, However, even then, it kind of bothered me. Just didn't fit in. Like I remind myself of Jungle Hunter. I think about Jungle Hunter, City Hunter, how they acted in the movie, and then I compare them to how Dak acts, how he talks, and this and that, and it just like there's like this big gap. Dak's father, I would say that my main issue is that like he's kind of like the generic villain. I don't know. It could have been. They could have like added a little bit more depth, and also I don't like the fact that they finished the arc between Dak and his father right on this movie. It kind of just felt so hushed. So I would say, okay, let's break down the movie little by little. The movie starts with Dak on the Yautja Prime. So Predator Home Planet, that's cool. I would say, oh, best thing about this movie that I would say, the environments, the planets, the Ultra Prime and Jama. I think that's how they call the other planet that he goes to. Those planets look great. Like the alien designs look great. The creatures, which the main one, Kalisk. I don't remember like the name exactly of the one that Deck has to kill. But it was very interesting how like his regeneration thing. So the alien creatures, the alien planet, like the environment, the setting, and the idea of this movie was actually pretty good. So the movie starts with Deck on the planet Homeward. Oh, also another thing, Predator's using like this motorcycle things. Like Deck at the start, I did not like his look. Like he was wearing a hood. Like everything about Deck, like in the first sequence, like it's just bothers me. Like Deck, the mask of the Deck and his brother use, Deck's armor, Deck's hood that he's using over his head. It just seems like a human. He just seems like a human. He doesn't seem like a predator. He really does not look like a predator in the start of the movie. They could have been humans and we wouldn't know until they removed the masks. But the movie starts with Deck and his brother. Deck goes to his brother. They have a little fight, which might be just part of the training. And Deck's brother tells him to give up. Deck says no, and his brother is like, good. So they start talking, and Deck's brother tells him like, oh, Kill is his brother's name, that he needs to pick up something to hunt for his first hunt, and with that, by bringing the trophy home, he's going to be accepted to do the clan. And Deck, just to prove himself, picks up the worst option, which is the Calyx, which is, how do I describe it? Imagine like a big ass bear with spikes and super regeneration. And I knew it was gonna be it. Like I told people, like, oh, that big ass creature, that creature that shows in the trailer, that's the one that he needs to kill. And a lot of people were saying, no, that's not the one. I knew it. Like they're showing it so much that I was sure that it was gonna be the case. So Deck needs to go there and kill it. But before he does that, their father just comes to where they are. And something that I like about the Predator home planet is how like tribal it looks. Like it doesn't look like very high advanced, even though it could be. But I think the Predators just don't give a shit, like about making things too clean and high tech. They have technology for it, but they are very tribalistic and they are very like in their origins. So they prefer to keep like things very basic. So the place where they are living there, like people think, oh, the Ultra Prime must be like this high tech place. It's not like it's not like gonna be like the other planets colonies that they might have out there. Like it has to be like something really like royalty, like the most like high-ranking predators stay there. And I actually like that it wasn't like really the case. I mean we don't see a portion of the planet. This is like a small part of the planet. We don't know how it's the rest of it. But I like to note that like there are predators that live there in a very tribalistic manner, in a very like low-tech manner. They have high advanced weapons and technology overall, but they still like live in very simple ways. I kind of like that. So Deck's father comes in and he's like telling him, "Kill. Why didn't you kill Deck?" And Deck is like, "What? What?" And then Kill tries to convince his father to, oh, maybe let him have his first hunt. So things end up escalating. Deck's father kind of tries to force Kill to kill Deck by throwing him like something that makes him like trap it. Kills frees Dex instead and sending him with the ship to the planet Jama where the Calyx is at. But something that I need to say about the intro was how hard the Predator emotions were on it. Like when Dex starts sees that Kill is gonna be killed by his father, the way he screams, you can really feel the pain. And I mean, people say, oh, we don't want to see a Predator crying, being emotional. I mean, he's not crying, he's just angry. And I mean, I think that anger is something that we have seen Predators before, like have. So of course this one is showing a much more personal manner because we can feel that like how much he and his brother care for each other. They do have like feelings toward each other. They're brothers. And I mean we saw in other media predators that for their clanmates, maybe brothers, we don't know for sure because in other media it's not confirmed. They also show caring for each other. So that's kind of stuff I like. Like I did not like some of the dialogue between him and his brother. It kind of sounds a little cheesy and corny. But like the whole like thing, the way that things happened at the start, his father killing Kill and Deck having to watch it through it, and just screaming, not be able to do anything about it. Like I thought that was really like a good sequence, a heavy one, like very emotional, in a good way, surprisingly. Kill tries to fight his father and then he ends up dying. And something that bothered me is that I don't know if it was supposed to be. I mean, I think it was supposed to be intentional, but only their father has cloak. All other predators. This is something that I like when we reach the end of the movie and they show again Deck's father use the cloak. I was like, damn. During the whole goddamn movie, Deck did not have his cloak. I mean, he doesn't have a wrist plate, he doesn't have cloak, he doesn't have the plasma cast, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's just missing so much unique aspects. Not that he's supposed to be a young predator. He has not earned it to use the cloak. He has not earned the plasma caster. But come on, wrist plates is the most basic shit. Like you guys could have made like laser, like the same way that the sword has this laser. Like do the same thing with wrist plates. Like there was such an overuse of the swords in this movie. Like really overused. The action was overall very good. Lots of fun, interesting sequences. However, these swords they use it way too much. Like they're just at one point I was like, can't you just use the combat stick more? Or also about the predator weapons, they added the Yautja bow from Predator Hunting Grounds. I mean, not the same one, is like a laser one, and he only uses it once. So it's so disappointing how like they focus so much on the swords and they forget about all the other predator weapons that could be using the bow, the combat stick. Like I wish he had used them more. So Deck ends up being sent to Jama. He arrives there, and he's already started getting attacked by a bunch of alien creatures. He gathered his stuff, like from his pod, he gets some of his weapons, but soon he loses most of them, like I was saying. Like he uses the bow at the start, and I think he just loses it, or just doesn't have enough more arrows, like with the laser thing, and then we don't see him use that anymore. So he has a very bad start, and I like that. I like how the Predator is vulnerable here. Like he's in a place where everything's trying to kill him, and that's really cool. Then he bumps into Taya, who asks for his help. She has recently had an encounter with the Kalask, as well as other synthetics, and I mean most of them seem to have died, and she lost half of her body in the process. So she kind of offers herself to Deck as a way to help him through his journey, to help him fight the Kalask, and I like that Wayland Yutani participation in this movie. Like this is something that I would say, like first thing that I liked the most was the setting, environments, planets, alien creatures. Second thing, and then the third thing would be the Wayland Yutani participation, because Wayland Yutani tired, like this group of synthetics that they put it on this planet, are there to capture alien creatures. Like it's something that fits in with Wayland Yutani. I like the premise that they have here. They want to capture the Kalask because he's like this creature that can't be killed, and he can't be killed from what I mean. He got killed. Spoiler. But he can't be killed like very easy because he has very high regenerative ability. So at one point, like he gets his head cut off, and even then, it's not enough. Like he just like the body and the head just go back to each other and they just glue back to each other like nothing happened. So it's a very tough creature to kill. And the way that he killed, I don't know, it was kind of dumb in the end. I just felt like off, like it was just weird. Weapon that allows the creature to be defeated is something that was on Deck's ship that he didn't get. I was like, so Deck had the weapon necessary to kill. Like, oh, all predators have this little like, it was like these little mines that freeze creatures that freeze when they freeze everything around them when they explode, and that's like the key to defend the Kalask. And no predator ever figured that out, because it's not that hard. You just need to grab those little mines, throw it to Kalask, and he's just gonna be frozen. And apparently that's how you kind of kill it. So I don't know. It's just weird how the only weapon that can kill the Kalask is that like these little mines that Deck had on his ship the entire time, and no other predator, because they keep pushing like, oh, all predators that come here have died. None of them managed to kill the Kalask. I'm like, I mean, none of them thought that maybe freezing with those mines would be a good idea. I don't know. Like it felt like I don't know, like a plot device to finish the creature, because they didn't know how to finish it in other way. So Taya convinces Deck to use her as a tool, and that's how I kind of like it. That he sees her because she's a synthetic, she's a robot. He doesn't see her as a biological creature, you know. He just sees her as a robot, as a tool, like a weapon, of a piece of technology that he's gonna use. And it was mostly okay. Like I would say at the start, I know that she is kind of cringe, like in a lot of times, like she makes some really bad jokes. But to be honest, I know that some of them I did not like much. The comic relief element in this movie was crazy. First with Taya, and then they meet in the meeting this frog monkey thing, which happens to be eventually revealed to be a baby Kalask. It's gonna be eventually be growing into a callus. And this thing is kind of funny. Like he kind of takes a liking to Dak for some reason. He just wants to stay close to him, and Dak tries to push him away. It's kind of funny, but then again, when I think about like a predator making a friend, it's kind of cringe. I mean, I was eventually just like I don't give a shit, like whatever. Let me just try to enjoy the action sequence, which are pretty good. Dak is doing crazy shit in this action sequences. Like the things that I mean, it's probably because the movie is more advanced now, so the CGI, like everything about it, we can see the Predators doing more acrobatic fights, with something that we did not see like Jungle Hunter and City Hunter do it. I mean, at least not on screen, like it was more like off screen thing. But the amount of shit that Dex do, like the action, like the way that he moves, the way that he does this and that, I mean, when he's moving during fights, going to the trees, that's really cool. It's just that when he's like behaving, walking normally, talking to people, he just feels too much like a human. It feels too much like a guy in a costume, you know? While Dak thinks that he's the one using Daya, he ends up being the one being used. And she gives like a signal to the Wayland Yutani, other synthetics. So they will be arriving shortly, and she tells Dak that, oh, I was just using you to get here, now Wayland Yutani, so that we, my group of synthetics, we want to capture the Calyx, so I can't not let you do this. So you kind of feel bad for Dak, like, oh, he thought he had a friend, and now she kind of betrays him. I mean, it's not really that much of a betrayal. Like, I mean, she's like saying, almost like to help him, like, you're not gonna kill this thing anyway. This thing cannot be killed. So just leave, you know, just go back or whatever. And he's not gonna be listening, of course. But he ended up like making this. He just does a lot of stuff there, to a bunch of explosions and fire that kind of brings the attention of the Calyx. And the Calyx goes to him. They have a fight. Dak actually managed to do very well. I mean, for supposedly the most dangerous creature in the whole planet, Dak kinda like beats it. But then he also loses because like the thing has he cuts off the Calyx head. However, the thing can just regenerate and just the head goes back to the body. Then he jumps into Dak, and Dak is almost about to be maybe killed or not, because I think that the Calyx, when he started to look very close to Dak, I think that he probably felt the scent of his kid on Dak, because the young Calyx, the monkey froggy thing, had spitted on Dak before, and that kind of puts him like as like a part of the family, I guess. And so that kind of stuff was a little bit cringy. I mean, maybe not just a little bit, but it was kind of cringy how Dak is like, oh, I'm just gonna be friends with the Calyx instead of hunting it. You know, it's like a environmentally friendly predator. Like instead of hunting the creatures, he wants to be friends with them. Like, oh, maybe that's too much. That's too much, you know. Synthetics arrive, and they have, before this sequence, the synthetic of Tessa, the Daya's twin sister, which we see her being repaired, like what happened to her after the Calyx beat the crap out of her until the synthetics. She gets awakened by Willie Dutani, and they're telling her, just go capture the Calyx, or we're just gonna turn you off. And we can see that Tai and Tessa, they are more human. They are more emotional than other synthetics. They are made in that manner, so they actually care. Like they're not like very cold. Like in a way that like you can see that Tessa is bothered by the fact that, oh, they can turn her off. Like she doesn't want to die. Like I feel like it's something like that. So she and the other groups of synthetics end up like killing a bunch of alien creatures and finding Dak's ship. And there they get little mines, these little balls that when they blow up, they freeze everything that they touch. And they end up using this on Dak and the Calyx as they are fighting each other. Mines of them, and they end up getting frozen. Both are captured. The Calyx is captured by Wayland Yutani, which was their goal apparently for going to this planet. Dak also gets captured in the process, and they are like, okay, I mean, I guess we can just capture the Predator here. So he ends up getting captured, and we have this sequence, which I kind of like it. Like the whole capture by humans. I mean, it's not even really humans, they're synthetics. But a predator that has been captured by humans is a concept that I think it's cool. Was not the best execution in the Predator, I think but that was actually one of the best scenes in the movie, like when the predator that was captured escapes. So I really like this idea. It's something that I like in AVP2, the game AVP2, in which the predator is captured, Predator Conquer Jungle, another game where the predator is captured. This sequence is cool, like seeing the predator vulnerable like that. Oh, he's the one that is being the prey now and being experimented on, you know, seeing like how the really bad side of humans, because we see, oh, predators are the bad guys, they are bad at this and this, and yeah, I mean, they're killers, but I think that humans can be more evil because they are like, I mean, predators don't really like torture, experiment on people, And I mean, humans, I mean, if you go for comics and games, like they have done some really fucked up things to predators. I mean, humans have experimented and just done things that, I mean, predators kill people, but they have their like own sort of sense of honor. They're not gonna like be capturing like people and just torturing humans and doing this and that like humans have done. So it was nice to see Deck in that position, and then Taya helps him escape. So she tries to make up for kind of betraying him before, even though like she kind of let him like fight the Kalesk, and if she had not called for the synthetics to arrive there and freeze the Kalesk, maybe Deck could have died. So in the end, like her betrayal was kind of like not that bad, you know. It's not like she wanted to like to kill Deck. She was like a betrayal, like oh she was never on his side. I think she cared for him ever since the start. I think that Taya was just not honest, like, oh, she just omitted that she was gonna call the other synthetics, but she actually cared for Dak and still cared, which shows because she ended up like helping him escape. Then Dak goes into this plan of taking the indigenous creatures of the planet and using his to his advantage to attack the Weylandani outpost to save Taya. The whole sequence is kind of okay. I mean, it does put Dak in a very good light. Like you have a lot of action, mostly synthetic against Predator action, a little bit of synthetic against synthetic. Like I think that overall, like this part, like what's some of the best parts of the movie? And then you have Tessa going to this big power loader thing, and then you have her also using a plasma caster. It wasn't as bad as the usage of the plasma caster by the guy on the Predator. Like that one was more cringe. With her, I don't know, like it was one of the few moments that we saw the plasma caster being used in this movie, which kind of sad that most of the time he's just getting used by a synthetic, you know, instead of a Predator. I wish Dak could have taken the plasma caster back and used it against her. I mean, he does take it back afterwards, but I mean, we don't see Dak using the plasma caster, which is a shame, you know. And also, we barely see him using the mask. Like he did found the mask, I think, before, but he's not using it. I think that he would have been useful for him to have the, I don't know, like the vision modes in the mask. I don't know, like how much he specifically in this planet that could help, but I think I wish Dak would have kept his mask on, even though I don't like the design. I don't know, it just kind of feels off to have a Predator being unmasked through so much of the movie. Deck against Tessa is a very cool sequence, and they end up with the Kalesk escaping and eating Tessa. And then Deck and the Kalesk have this little moment in which they kind of like bond, which is kind of cringy, or yeah, it is cringy. It's because Deck is friends with the Kalesk kid, and then the Kalesk's mother, I guess. That's how he describes it. I think he does refer to it as the mother of the little guy there. Since he's bonding with the kid, he's like, okay, I'm just gonna become friends with the mom too. I'm like, I don't know, it just kind of feels off. I wanted Deck to get his trophy. It's a part of the hero's journey, like his goal was to get this to prove himself. And in the end, like, oh no, the Kalesk is actually this friendly creature that everyone wants to bully, like the Predators want to kill with, Weylandani wants to capture. I don't know, like even like other people that like it the movie, I saw them saying like, I wish Deck could have killed the Kalesk. Like I think it would have been better overall. That's how I think I would have finished the movie. But instead, Tessa ends up killing the Kalesk from the inside. She was eaten by the Kalesk, however, she took the little Predator mines with her, and she pretty much like appears to have blown all of them from the inside, which causes the Kalesk to freeze and just break into pieces, and well, he's gone. So Tessa was the villain in this whole storyline involving Weylandani. She's I think, overall good representation of the Weylandani synthetics that just want to do everything for the company. After killing the Kalesk, Tessa is on her way to kill Taya. Deck with his combat stick, I think. Like this part, I think I'm not sure exactly which weapon he uses, but I think it's Deck attacks her from behind, kills her, takes back his plasma caster as she was aiming at Taya, she's just ready to blow up her head with the plasma. He takes the plasma caster back, and well, everything appears to be fine. Like I mean, Taya and Deck are like friends. They're like besties now. Deck kind of like started liking her apparently, just not seeing her as a two. Oh, and she also got her lower body back, so she can walk now. He doesn't have to be carrying her on his back. And this is kind of like where I think the movie could have ended. Like Deck completed his stuff, you know. Even though it was like the idea here that it's not about the trophy at the end, it's about the friends that we make along the way. And I'm like, that doesn't fit in very well for a Predator movie. Like it feels more like an anime character. No, Deck reminds me of anime characters or movie characters that go to the hero arc, you know, or like I think this game would have worked more as a video game. I mean, this movie Badlands could have worked better as this open world Predator game where you play as Dak on this planet, you know. I think they would have worked, the storyline would have worked much better in a game than in a movie. And this was, I think, that how the movie could have ended. Even though, like, I wanted Dak to kill, it could have ended with him killing the Callus, getting the head, and he's like, now I can go back to my father. And the movie ended right there. But it doesn't end like that. They added this end sequence in which Dak goes back to the Predator home planet to go confront his father. And I think this was so hushed. Like, I think this was something that they should have put it in a sequel. Maybe they are like, oh, we don't know if this movie is gonna do well, so we don't know if there's gonna be a sequel. So let's just finish up the whole story. But it just felt so hushed and bad. Like, having Dak already reach his ultimate goal of defeating his father kind of makes, like, I mean, his father is supposed to be this badass elder predator, clan leader, and Dak just defeats him. Even though, like, his father has the advantage by using cloak during the fight, but Dak still managed to turn it out. Like, I know they are trying to, oh, Dak has just improved it so much. I know that Dak is the main character, but I kind of felt like some plot armor there. Up until now, Dak's behavior was mostly okay. Like, his feats were cool, like he was doing a lot of crazy shit. But at this point, I was like, oh, they just have him kill his father just because, oh, he's the main character, he needs to win. But I just didn't feel like he literally earned it. You know, it's like when Luke Skywalker defeated, like, Darth Vader. He did it on the third movie. Like, imagine if Luke defeated Darth Vader in the first Star Wars movie. You think that would have fit? It wouldn't if you hush it. That's how I feel about this. And I'm comparing Luke to Dak and Darth Vader to Dak's father, because, I mean, Dak's father looks like Darth Vader Predator. Like, the whole design, the whole father-son thing, like, it just feels too much like that, you know? Same thing if, like, Luke defeated Darth Vader in the second Star Wars movie, Empire Strikes Back. Also wouldn't fit in. Like, his defeat and he coming back was much more interesting. So I would have finished the movie here. If they made another one, I would have Dak fight his father and still lose. Maybe kill one of his, like, his guards or another brother that is, like, evil, some evil brother of him, I don't know. To make the story extend more and see that Dak needs to still work up, he needs to, like, level up more before he can reach the level where he can defeat his father. It just kind of, like, felt too easy. It felt too easy for Dak to defeat his father this soon. And there's this cheesy part where the father, instead of fighting him right away, he just tells two of his bodyguards to do it, and Dak ends up killing them. And, like, I mean, this sequence is just here to show, oh, Dak is so cool, he can kill two predators at once. Like, okay, but I mean, the fight sequence wasn't, like, bad, but it's still, I don't know, like, and also the Predators designs, those two guys were out of Killer of Killers, which had these Predators that look more like gladiators instead of, like, alien hunters, you know? Like, the armor design, I don't know, it just feels off. So Dak and his father start fighting. As soon as Dak starts getting the upper hand, his father does the same thing that he did against Kill, which was to use the cloak to take advantage of that. And it's kind of like a sheep thing, like, he's kind of like a bad blood, I guess. I mean, there's not much honor in what he's doing. He's an asshole. Like, I mean, I know that he's supposed to be a bad predator, but it's still like, come on, dude. You're supposed to be the stronger one, and you're still resorting to a tactic like that against the opponent, like having that much of advantage, and he still loses. I mean, Dak managed to turn the situation around. He uses something on his ship to leave a lot of dust so that he can see his father despite the cloak. He ends up, like, defeating his father. His father is like, oh, maybe you're not so bad after all, kid. You managed to defeat me, so, well, you can just be a part of the clan. And then Dak is like, oh, I have my own clan now. And that's so cheesy. Like, come on, dude. You could have taken your father's place in the clan, like maybe kill him and, like, oh, now I'm the clan leader, but you're still a predator. But no, he wants now to have, like, a clan, a family with Taya and the Monkey Frog thing, which now has grown a lot. So I think that this end sequence is maybe like a few years after the main storyline. Maybe it's like 3-4 years after, because, I mean, the Monkey Frog thing has grown a lot. I mean, if this part takes place years after the first sequence, it makes sense that during those years, Dak managed to level up and improve himself more so he could confront his father. But we don't see that, you know? So it kind of like, we don't get to see Dak going through that. So he just goes there and, like, oh, I can defeat my father now. So he defeats his father, or more specifically the Monkey Frog thing. It's up his father's head. His father is dead. And then everything appears to be okay. Taya is smiling at him, like they're looking at each other, like having this good happy family moment at the end, which is also cringy. And then something cool happens, kind of. A bunch of Predator ships, the Predators start appearing and looking into Dak and the others. And Taya is saying, oh, are they your friends? And Dak is like, oh no, it's my mom. And that was like, oh god, that was actually funny. And I like the idea that oh now he needs to confront the rest of his family. I mean that wasn't bad. It was entertaining. I was not expecting any mention about his mother, but it was just interesting idea, interesting way to end the movie because it's like open ending. Like oh now Deck is on the Predator homeworld and now he needs to fight his mother as well. I mean, if the whole planet goes against him, like I don't think there's much he can do, especially because it's just Deck, Taya, and the monkey frog thing, which has grown bigger, but still in. I mean, Kenan probably has the same regenerative abilities that the its parent had, but still, like I kind of feel like just these three against like the a whole predator planet. It feels very risky. Like it feels like Deck. I mean, maybe the other predators don't care about what happens within each clan. So even though Deck killed his father, I think that maybe all the other predators outside of this family are not gonna give much of a shit. So Deck can just try to fight his mother, kill his mother, I guess, as a next step, and then go back and to whatever planet he wants to go to, because he's probably not gonna stay on Yautja Prime, because I don't think Daya and the Monkey Frog thing are gonna want to stay there. So I was just wondering like where they're gonna go from this. So to summarize my opinion on the movie, it has some cool moments, it has some cool action, it has some like a lot of interesting things. It's like a good movie overall. But as a Predator movie, it just changes so much of the creature, humanizes them too much. It just changes their design too much. It just makes them in such a way that it loses a lot of the mystery and the uniqueness that the Predator species had in the previous movies, you know? So you see like the way that the Predators behaved in the previous movies and now how they behave now, and you can see that there's like a downgrade for sure. I don't hate this movie because I think that after all that we Predator fans have went through, I think I just kind of stopped giving a shit about it, you know? Like I'm tired of hating on any new media of Predator. I just ignore them. I tried to almost ignore this one, but at one point I was like, okay, nah, I have to go watch it. Maybe it has some cool moments because I like the premise, like I like the idea, the concept of a Predator main character was something that I always wanted. I wanted to see the execution of that, the setting, the having this set into the future, something also something that I like it a lot. Having this set into the future, having this set into an alien planet. Whoever this kind of felt, I think that a lot of people have been calling this like the Disney version of Predator. And yeah, with the happy family thing, like oh, Deck, Taya, and now they have their little pet, the monkey froggy thing. Those three are now a happy little family. Like it's kind of cringy. Like I don't know. Like it just doesn't fit in. I know that this now is a PG-13 movie. They kind of like made like the Predator more like kid friendly. You know, with this movie they really push it for more like a Disney kid friendly version of the Predator franchise, which I don't like. You know, it's just changing too much. So, well, I think that the movie is overall like not completely bad. It's a good movie, but as a Predator movie, I think that it kind of like shitted on the creature on a lot of aspects. So I can understand why a lot of people are giving a lot of shit for the movie, because it does fuck up with a lot of the stuff that you kind of like about the Predator. Like I like, you know, it puts the Predator in a very like negative way. You know, sure Deck has some badass moments, but it's still like it's kind of like how you have to balance it out. You know, in one scale you have Deck having his great action moments, and then in other moments you have him like being in such a cringe situation, in such like a kid-friendly situation. It's like, damn, this doesn't feel like an adult movie. That's the vibe that I got from it, you know? It kind of felt like too Disney-like, and I mean, damn. Like, I'm surprised this movie ever managed to be completed. Like, I'm surprised that Dan managed to convince the Disney whatever to make, oh, let's make a movie where Predator, the monster, that killing machine, that sadistic alien hunter from the movies is now the main character, and he's gonna go to this Carter. He's gonna try to, he's like this good Predator, friendly Predator, because that's what that kind of ends up like becoming in the end. He starts off as a normal Predator, but eventually he gets more and more human, more and more friendly, you know? Less and less like the Predators that we all know we love. And that is a problem for me. So, well, still, I do hope this movie has a good box office and that we can get more movies in the future. Like, I really want an AVP movie. Like, doesn't matter, like, if they want to go to the same route with the AVP movie, like, whatever. Like, I don't know, I just prefer that. I prefer to have something rather than having the franchise die, even though some people say, oh, it's better to have it die in peace and rather to be ridiculized this manner. But I kind of like the idea of Dak returning into the future has an older, more experienced Predator. Maybe like let's make a sequel that is like 100 years into the future from this movie. And now Dak has a proper Predator hairline. He looks more like his father. He looks like an actual Predator. He has better armor. Just like make a AVP movie into the future where Dak is older and he is with Ty and the monkey project and they go to an alien planet, or there's an encounter with aliens, maybe older predators. Actually, I would have preferred if that confrontation with his father was maybe in a future AVP movie. That would be cool. Like imagine Dak finally managed to reach to the point where he can fight his father head to head, and then his father and the other members of their clan are in an alien planet hunting aliens, and then Dak has to go there to fight his father and has to fight aliens along the way. Like I think that the sequel for this could have been like a AVP movie, and then in this sequel, Dak could fight his father and win. Like not in this one, like it felt just too hushed. So the movie has a lot of issues. It has some cool moments, but it has really some big issues, and not just issues related to the Predator lore and just something that would bother Predator hardcore fans. But even analyzing it as a movie instead of just a Predator movie, it does have some very big flaws. Like it's not a perfect movie. It can be fun, but it's really like not the best that it could be.